Welcome gamers to another edition of Gamer Zone, where we play games, talk games, and share with you the latest in gaming with me, Yume Suryani. This week on Gaming News, Mass Effect's co-creator Casey Hudson announced that Humanoid Studios will be developing new games. News of Hudson's departure from BioWare was a shock to the game industry. However, it also means that the game industry is expanding and newer games will be released in the future. The Witcher has been a staple game in most gamers' platforms, be it PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and even Nintendo Switch. With the new announcement from CD Projekt recently, it is expected that a new Witcher game is in development, in partnership with Epic Games, and will be using the Unreal 5 engine. However, no release dates have been announced yet, but with CD Projekt, we just can't wait to see the end result. Good news for all the streamers that has been using OBS Studio as a streaming platform, as OBS is now available on Steam, giving streamers more fluidity in terms of updating the streaming platform and also troubleshooting. It will be a good addition to streamers as we do not want any last-minute update just as we are about to go live, but with this addition in Steam, it will be a seamless experience. Cloud saves for the OBS setting is still a work in progress, but the developers assures everyone that it will be in constant improvement. This week we're gonna focus on indie games, developers who create games based on their passion and release under a smaller distributor but still get the recognition as good as other AAA games, and sometimes it is an even better experience for the gamers. So here's our picks for indie games this week. I think most of the gamers here are familiar with Harvest Moon, and if you have ever played Harvest Moon before, I think you will recall the days and night you spend on the fields tilling away the dirt and harvesting your crops, then looking at the moon at night as you drink your fresh milk from your cows a few feet away from your house. Well, you will get to experience it more as Stardew Valley will give you that same experience and more. In Stardew Valley, you start the game as you inherited your grandfather's farm, and armed only with a few coins and some hand-me-downs tool you begin working on your farm. The game started as a single-player story, but eventually you can invite your friends to help you on the farm. And the harder and more frequently you work, the bigger your farm will be. Cupheads. It is called the cartoon version of Dark Souls. Although, compared to Dark Souls, the art styles of Cupheads doesn't really fit the way the game presents itself to you. The game starts off pretty silly. The main character is called Cuphead, with the brother Mugman are two fun-loving children that lives under the watchful eye of the Elder Kettle. Then the story suddenly turns to Dark Souls as they are suddenly tasked by the devil to collect Soul's contract due to some gambling debt the two acquired. So that's where our game starts, and you will face this colorful character throughout the game and face them in different types of game, then collect their souls to pay off your debt. Cupheads have also recently released their own series on Netflix and getting really good reviews. Have you ever questioned your life? Do you want to question what your purpose is in this universe? That is the kind of question you will be asking once you start playing this game. The Stanley Parable starts not like any other game have ever started, which the player is stuck inside the office, then you are guided by a narrator. a kind of voice of God telling you what your next mission is. However, you can also opt to not follow what they're telling you, of course with a bit of resentment by the narrator itself. That's the kind of game the Stanley Parable is. You can choose your own path, but the choices presented are sometimes not the only choice there is, and it will lead to multiple different endings, or just another game over screen. But the more you play this game, the more you start to question what you want to do with your life.
Wait, how did you do that?
Disco Elysium. If you are a fan of tabletop RPG or just another fan of action RPG, Disco Elysium is the game for you. This award-winning game is within its own unique level as the game is heavily inspired by steampunk and postmodern ideology, both in creative art styles and the storyline itself. The players will get to play the character of Harry Dubois, a lieutenant in the Revocable Citizen Militia, the RCM, a police-like agency in the game universe. You will be assisted by Kim Kitsuragi to investigate a murder, a suicide, depending on how you take on the case is. Largely open world with only one main mission and a whole lot of side missions you can encounter and take. It's no wonder Disco Elysium won multiple awards and is named Game of the Year of several publications and agreed by most gamers. Undertale, an indie darling released back in 2015. It has been a really huge hit with the gamers even though with pixel-style graphics, but the storyline and the moral of the game is really good. The gameplay is similar to the RPG of older days with turns battle system involved, however with a twist to the old battle system we are given a puzzle-like mini-games when we choose to fight. There are however friendly options during the battle, but spoiler alert, for first-time players of the game you might think to choose to fight rather than the peaceful options. But again, it's part of the spoilers of the game itself. By the end of the game we are left with the question of morality. Who are the real monster? The developers of the game is currently in development of a new game, a similar world to Undertale but with more emphasis on the daily life of the main character. Kind of like Pokemon, but instead of fighting with your Pokemon, you can choose to be friends with the monster instead. And that's it for this weeklies. We hope you have played these indie games. If not, then you are more than welcome to try. We'll be right back after the break. Hello again gamers and welcome back to Gamer Zone. This week on our recommendation, we recommend this game. It has been a long time coming for this beautiful platformer puzzle horror game, a prequel to the critically acclaimed Little Nightmares. You are given control of the Six, a girl wearing a yellow raincoat along with a new character Mono, a boy wearing a pepper bag on his head. Together, the two must traverse through different levels and solve complicated and intricate puzzles, all the while avoiding the nightmarish creature of the game's world known as the Mao. Similar to the previous games, Little Nightmares 2 is set in a 2.5D world and players are tasked with exploring the world while occasionally encountering platformer-like situations or being blocked by puzzles that must be solved before you can proceed. However, this prequel gives more options for the players as the character Mono is given the ability to grab certain items or break objects and even fight smaller foes. But while facing larger foes, you would still need to rely on stealth and the environment to evade them. With two main characters on screen, Mono is also given the ability to call out to Six and hold her hand to make sure they stay together. Together, they must solve environmental puzzles and evade or defeat the enemies. Little Nightmares 2 was released back in 2021, but it is still garnering more fans as the years goes by. Just like its predecessor, more and more gamers are looking forward to games like this in terms of heavy storyline and simplistic gameplay and beautiful graphics. We are hoping more releases from this series, or at least from the same developers, because we just can't wait to see what else they have in store for gamers. And on our final segment of the day, we have upcoming games. Set for release in May 2022, this sequel to the ever-popular game The Forest, an open-world survival game, has been announced back in December 2021. We still haven't gotten any info on the storyline other than the teaser trailer and some leaked screenshots of the game, but the latest trailer left us with the gameplay of the game, in which it still retains its survival-style games, crafting, resource management, fighting evil mutants, building houses, walls among others are still the same as the predecessor. Some new features from the trailer we could see is the laboratory and the ability to dig. It is also confirmed that Sons of the Forest will also retain the multiplayer mode, meaning players will have the chance for Forest Party Game Night. Yes, it's a thing with the first game, and we predict it will also be the same with the sequel. With that, we could say we cannot wait for the release of this game. And that's it, gamers. That's it for this week's update. Don't forget to tune in to our show again next week. Same time, same place. Only on Gamer Zone. Eat, sleep, game, repeat. See ya!